Brianna and myself were living with my mother since she was born. And then my mother passed away. And when my mother passed away, the house was sold. And that was a big, huge, bad process. And a family that was happy wasn't happy anymore. And then from there, we started living with my friends. Like I would stay with one good friend of mine from high school, but we were sleeping on the couch every night. I said, I can't do this anymore. I have to go, I need to get some help. I have to stop trying to be so proud, you know, and ask.
Well, I think when most people think about homelessness, they think of people who are living on the streets. But largely, the largest group of homeless people are families. This past year, homelessness increased dramatically. And if you had to pick out who was the person that was homeless the most, you'd pick out the face of a child. So homelessness is predominantly here among families.
Who is homeless and how many? It's estimated that about 20,000 children this year will experience homelessness. And it's also calculated that the average child's age is 8. We find out that the impact on kids is profound.
The United Way and Project Hope have been real leaders in terms of looking at how to better serve people.
Through Project Hope, I got shelter. I had access to training programs, which helped me to be where I am right now in my own apartment, working a good job that I love every day and coming home to my apartment.
I think anytime you can create public-private partnerships, I think that demonstrates, first of all, that what you're doing does have some legs. It has some cachet that you can get both sides of that equation to the table.
A public-private partnership is critical to ending family homelessness.
The shelter, I think, was a really good shelter. Everyone had a night to make dinner, and I'm not the best cook, so it was spaghetti every night for me. People started getting sick of it, but that's all I could cook, so I cooked spaghetti every night. And that will be fun because, you know, when you first get there, you don't really know anybody. But then as the time goes on, I met people. I met a couple of girls that I'm still friends with now, and they would help me make dinner. They taught me how to make rice and beans and, you know, the Spanish flavor, which I love. But so they taught me a few dishes that now I'm incorporating at my own apartment, and I'm cooking them, and Brianna enjoys them, so that's good.
I have experienced homelessness as a child. From that perspective, I certainly believe the mission of Project Hope. You know, I fell in love with Project Hope when I first came, and it wasn't going to be a full-time type of thing, but it's a type of agency that the compassion and the mission is so real. I've always wanted to be a part of that, and I just think that we try never to take our eyes off the mission and what it is that we're trying to do, and that is to lift people out of poverty and make them self-sufficient.
We're looking at affordable housing, income maximization, workforce development, education and training, and the kinds of supports families need in order to move along that track. Housing first means that you keep families in housing before they have to move into shelters. So you catch them early. You do early warning systems to begin to catch those families that are falling back and have rent arrearages, and try to pick that up early on so that you could then help them to stabilize that income and do the landlord negotiation so that you keep them in that housing. It's also applied to the growing number of families that have already fallen out of housing and are in shelters across the state, and those numbers are growing by leaps and bounds.
I'm actually working in one of the elite hospitals in Boston. I'm working in a dentist office. My daughter's so proud of me. She's so proud of me, and it's kind of embarrassing. Just huge difference from, you know, I could see child depression in her, and now it's like, I just see happiness and the glitter in her eyes. She was dulling, her eyes were dulling, but now they're sparkling again.
The goal over the next 10 years is to eliminate homelessness.
I believe that it can be achieved.
Well, in 10 years from now, if we don't solve the problem, I hope we all look each other in the mirror and begin to ask ourselves, where were we 10 years ago when we had the opportunity, when we had government agencies willing to step up with the resources? We had great agencies like Project Hope with the innovation and the skills and the wherewithal to deliver a new way of getting services delivered. And we had philanthropy like the United Way to step up and leverage its dollars against this. We can solve this problem in 10 years if we focus on it. For the sake of these 20,000 kids, we have to. Otherwise, we're going to be left looking in the mirror saying, where were we?
It was really hard on her, but once we got our apartment, what a difference in my daughter, night and day. Now it's kind of like, okay, mommy, let's do this and we can do that. And Project Hope for me is hope, you know, and it's in the future. I hope to be able to stand on my own 2 feet, maybe not today, but definitely tomorrow.